All right, Bomb Squad. Welcome to the final Game of Thrones recap here with Paulie Sirloins. We got the Iron Throne. Everything's said and done. It's over. It's gone. We got prequels coming up. That's like, remember when they said that about Star Wars? Like, I'm not even a Star Wars guy, but it was like Attack of the Clones and like the worst series of movies ever. Like, that's what Game of Thrones prequel is probably going to be. But I have the rundown, just like quick things that we got to just, it's really not that much what happened because everything was rushed. Well, before I get to that, how's everybody doing? You guys good?
All right.
I've been feeling real empty lately. So
Tone's texting me. He was at work, and you were like, "I feel like the Giants just lost like a heartbreaker on Monday Night Football."
Yeah, to the Cowboys. Like to the Cowboys. That's like, it's always worse when you lose to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Like I'm sure whenever you lose to the Saints, it's like fuck.
Which is all the time.
Especially when you get embarrassed. It's like you don't have to deal with that like once a year. Actually, every time they play the Cowboys, basically, it's like prime time.
Yeah,
and like lately we've been getting embarrassed a lot, so it's like I know that feeling, like that just pit in your stomach, just walk around.
Yeah, primetime football is the worst. I mean, like Thrones, at least they were nice. Like it was 8 to 9, and not or 9 to 10 rather, not 10 to 11. Like a lot of primetime shows start at 10. Like at least it's not that like where you have to stay like football. It's 8:45 until midnight, and then you lose like that, and then you got to work real early, and you're just like dead. But that's what this was. So
just walk around like Charlie Brown all day.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm there all the time in the fall. I'm not a pleasant person to be around. So Tyrion gets imprisoned. I guess I'm just going to kind of just blaze over it. I have some of my thoughts written next to a lot of things that happened. But he gets imprisoned because she found out that he freed Jaime again. And in that last episode, she said, if you do it again, you're fucking done. Threw him in prison. Thought that was interesting. I figured at this point, while she just killed everybody, that she might as well just kill Tyrion right there.
Yeah. I mean, she lost her shit with everything. I mean, like, yeah, all of a sudden now she's like feeling merciful. Like, like even like with the Tarleys, like when they decide not to kneel, instead of like in prison, she just burnt them alive. It's like now she's gonna like keep them as a prisoner. Like I thought she was gonna have a dragon eat him right there.
Yeah. So she kind of fucked herself by doing it because then Jon Snow goes to see Tyrion because Jaime's dead. And then Tyrion pretty much convinces Jon that Dany needs to die. And Jon's a simple man. And like, Tyrion's creative with words. Could have like just killed him and then there would be no creative words to get into his brain. But no. So everything's, I don't know, we'll get to it, but everything just feels forced to what they wanted it to be. And it's not making sense. So then Jon kills Dany. In the throne room, Drogon comes out of nowhere, freaks out, burns the throne, picks her up and carries her. Dany's gone, the dead body. I don't know where the dragon goes, but a dragon's just going to be around. We'll never find out if that's going to be a problem or not. Like we've never seen Game of Thrones where like there's rogue dragons in the forest. Like where do they go? What's their natural habitat?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're going back to like Valyria, like where he was in the earlier seasons when he disappeared. Maybe, I don't know. But I just want to talk about the dragon real quick, this whole scene. I understand dragons are supposed to be smart, but get out of my face with this shit. Him burning the throne instead of Jon. Like he's like, you did this to her. The throne. The evil power.
I mean, it could have just been like I guess he probably looked at Jon Snow as his stepdad, and like he didn't want to kill him, but then he also wanted to release a bunch of frustration and just burned everything around him, and it included the throne. So,
you think a dragon is respecting his stepdad? I mean, like,
we're at the end. What stepdad movie ever ends with the son not liking the stepdad? Other than like some horror films, but like most of the time when it's like you trying to get used to the new stepdad.
But this isn't a stepdad movie. This is fucking Game of Thrones. I mean,
have you ever seen Man of the House with Chevy Chase and Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
No.
When they go to the Indian school together, like stepdad and son, because he saw the flyer and like it's weird, but they like end up being great. They're great together, father son.
I'm sure they were. But
that's what the dragon was to Jon Snow.
I mean, and also there's just no reason for Jon to be alive at this point. I mean, he's not king. And then he ends up going, back to the Night's Watch, which
we don't really need that anymore.
Like, there's no point. Like, he basically at the end just walks back into like the forest with the wildlings, like what's the movie? Field of Dreams.
Yeah,
it's just like all right, that's the last we're gonna see him. Like, what's the point of it? Like, what's the?
I think it was one of those forced things because if you notice, like him walking out of the wall was the first scene of the series, so they wanted to have like the first scene of the series is the last scene of the series.
I guess,
but so it's forced. Yeah, he shouldn't be alive, but they needed that to happen.
but then like now with this, there's no point at all of him even being a Targaryen. This whole like the whole thing that was like the biggest secret, like reveal in like TV history is just pointless at this point.
Yeah, and Paulie, before you go, I just want to counter that. You know who won Game of Thrones? Ned Stark, great parent.
Yeah, I guess he did a good job of raising his kids.
Great dad.
Fucking no.
I think this is all about great dads. But anyway, go ahead, Stolins.
At least we got to see Ghost get pet.
Yeah.
There's actually a rumor I heard, because apparently Kit Harington was supposed to do like a charity event in LA like a couple weeks ago, and he had to cancel it. And he had to, I don't know where the event was, but he had to cancel it and fly to LA for some reason. People are saying that they made him come back to film like the pet scene just because people were so upset.
Oh, I can believe it.
I believe it too. At this point, they're getting so much shit for everything. It's like, we gotta have him pet the goddamn dog.
Yeah, I can 100% believe that. I actually saw like a meme on Reddit about it. It was like some like dude at a computer like really frustrated, and it was just like the CGI editor trying to cram in a whole scene worth of John petting Ghost and shit.
It's gonna be such a frustrating job making that perfect.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this shit show of an episode.
We'll get through this because I'm almost done with. We're pretty much already there because like the end after they killed Danny, it's pretty much just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Grey Worm lets it slide with Jon Snow. I guess what was like the agreement? Because this is the only episode I didn't watch twice this season because I was so bummed. But he just like if you send him to the Night's Watch, I'm good. Basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Which doesn't make any sense because 5 minutes earlier he's slitting people's throats just because they were on a different side of the war. Like, and then now all of a sudden the guy that kills his queen, he's gonna like go by the Geneva Convention now. Like he's gonna like follow the rules. Like he was just like slitting prisoners of war's throats, and now like this guy that killed his queen, the one who brought him to this fucking continent, and he's just like, no, like we can't kill him. We got to keep him in prison.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, that's fine. Night's Watch. Or
he should have never made it out of that fucking throne room between the dragon and Grey Worm. He should never made it out of the Red Keep. And instead he's just like a prisoner for like a month and a half or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking Grey Worm. So there's a little plot hole. All right. So then Fat Sam, he invents democracy because we gotta find the new ruler. Right. And he's just like, why does it have to like just be someone? Why can't we just think about it and say who we all think it should be? And then
laughed out of the room.
And then Tyrion says, yeah, you're right. And then he says it should be somebody with a good story. And who has a better story than Bran the Broken, who is no longer the Three-Eyed Raven. And he's just been sitting around in a wheelchair all the time. And then now he's king. So he gets the throne. Then he makes Tyrion his hand, sends Jon to the Night's Watch. Obviously, that we just talked about, and then Sansa says that he can't reproduce, so like his dick doesn't work. He's paralyzed from the waist down, including the dick and the balls. And then she said she should have Winterfell, and then he was like, all right, yep, you can take that. Bronn is master of coins, Sir Davos is master of ships, and Sir Brienne updates the Book of Brothers, just puts everything, updates the Wikipedia page. Then Arya goes and sails west. Jon goes to the wildlings, and then Sansa rules Winterfell. The Starks basically win. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of Thrones.
Yep.
In the end, democracy. That's it. So, Paulie, go ahead. Let Paulie read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we'll start with the dragon scene because that has to be one of the stupidest things I've seen in the fucking show so far.
It was just so fucking corny. Like
we touched on it. The dragon has a connection with Dany, right? Like when she's in trouble, he can sense it. You saw that seasons ago when she's in the arena and she's in trouble, and he shows up out of nowhere to like save her. She gets killed. He immediately like knows. Why the fuck would he but how is he so smart where he's just like, oh shit, that throne's the whole reason why my mom just got killed.
Yeah.
I'm going to fuck that throne up. I'm going to leave Jon right there. It doesn't matter that Jon's a Targaryen because Targaryens have fought each other in the past. So why the fucking dragon? They also fucked each other. They do a lot of shit with each other. And why wouldn't he just burn the shit out of John right then and there, or just eat him. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, he comes in and he sees his mother dead with a knife in his stomach, and John's standing right there, and he's just like, "It's the fucking chair's fault."
Yeah, that scene managed to make me angry and sad at the same time, because you see like the dragon like nudge her body, like,
Just
oh shit,
force symbolism.
and then he just leaves John alone. For dude, John would have had a better ending if he just died right then and there, because then John sacrifices himself for the betterment of the realm. Not oh shit, I had to kill her, because I think he really loved her. So I think he had a hard time doing what he did, but he just gets away with it.
And that's my whole thing I was saying before, is like there's no point of him surviving. So like him dying right there would have been like a nice like bow to tie on that storyline. Like, it was like a Romeo and Juliet kind of ending where like, they were the lovers and it just wasn't meant to be, but they ended up dying together. Like it just would have made more, it would have been better that way. Instead he goes back to the fucking wall for no reason.
Yeah. And then I guess he turns himself in, right? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah,
I'm guessing he just turned himself in because they didn't want to show any of that. So you're gonna tell me Grey Worm, like you said, isn't just gonna fucking kill him right then? What?
Yeah.
What is this?
He's been looking for a reason to kill him for like 3 episodes.
This is why it sucks so much that it was so rushed. Like this would all make sense. This could easily all make sense if we spanned it out where it could be Grey Worm and John actually developed a fucking relationship over time, and Grey Worm actually sees all the good in Jon Snow.
Or you see like a rift growing between them and they become like bigger enemies. Like it could go both ways.
It could be that, but like with the ending that we have, it would have been nice if we could see the stuff in between to like maybe he didn't want to kill him because he's like, fuck, like I've seen what you did. You did everything that's right, but she was still my queen. So I won't kill you, but I want you gone. Like that's what they were getting at. But you didn't see any of that. We just burned down King's Landing 10 minutes ago. Like it all happened just too fast. It happened in fucking less than 3 hours.
It's not. I'm not upset with the way everything. I'm upset how we got to the ending we got to. I'm okay with Danny being killed. I'm okay with certain things that happened, but it's the way we ended up there. It doesn't make any.
Got there way too fast. They just skipped through it, and it would have been. It could easily have been a beautiful ending. Like if we don't know anything about Brand. Like it just. Like you can read into it and stuff where like, he was the three-eyed raven, but he just didn't really know how to use it. And the things are like, he's afraid to actually say anything because he's afraid that people will change their actions and then screw up the course of history. But they don't develop his character. So if you just watch the show, you wouldn't know what's going through his head because he doesn't fucking talk. He just sits in his chair.
Brand's like the worst fucking character. First of all, like, I think it was episode 4. Tyrion like talks about him being the Lord of Winterfell. He's like, I don't want anymore. Like he doesn't have needs. He doesn't want for anything. Then he asks him, "Oh, do you want to be king?" He's like, "Why do you think I fucking traveled all this way?" Yeah. What are you talking about? You just said you don't want anything, and now all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, well, if it's king, yeah, I'll take it." It doesn't make sense.
It does if you look at it at three-eyed raven perspective, even though he said he's not that anymore. Where if he saw this whole thing coming, and then it's like an inside joke between him and himself. Where he's like, "Why do you think I came all this way? I knew it would happen."
Well, I actually was reading something online. People are saying that like Bran is actually kind of the bad guy. Like he knew this was going to happen all along, and he could have spoke up sooner and like stopped it sooner. But he let all these people die against the White Walkers. He let King's Landing burn to the ground just so he could.
Yep, and he leaked the news that Jon is a Targaryen because he knew that it would trigger them burning down King's Landing and giving him.
And that would be so much cooler. But if they could just like if they set that up,
they didn't have any time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if they just like
Bran was completely undeveloped.
Yeah, I mean just the fact that he said like, "What do you think I've been like? I came all the way down here for." It means he knew all fucking long he was gonna become the king,
right?
And if he didn't want to be king, then why didn't he just do something like he? I don't know. I mean, that would be such a cooler ending, and I would have no problem with Bran being king if that was the case.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I read something about how like because like the three-eyed raven is related to the children of the forest and stuff, and the children of the forest like were slaughtered by the first men that came over to the continent of Westeros, right?
Yeah.
So someone was just like, what if like he's taking the king and everything, the kingship and all that because he's really part of like the children of the forest now. Like you said, he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
like this is to get set him up for revenge against the humans and all this death and suffering, and now the children of the forest have their territory back. Like they have the person who's in charge. So like I think that would be fucking pretty dope. But
And
they
that could
forgot
easily,
about his character for
that
seasons.
honestly could be the case. Paulie
Yeah,
Airlines,
but we don't know.
they didn't have time to tell us. You just have to like do like things like this and talk it out, and like, but you'll never have a definitive answer until the
No.
books come out. But now it looks like George R. R. Martin saying he's gonna like change the ending. So I don't need to change it. Just fill in the gaps.
Yeah,
I don't mind if he keeps the ending the way it was in the show, but I know he'll do a good job at making everything flow correctly to get to that spot where you're satisfied with it. And there's just too much like crazy shit and like plot holes. Like Bran gets made king. Sansa's like Winterfell will not kneel. North's going to be independent. And he's just like, yeah, sure. Why the fuck is every other house just like, okay, yeah, we'll bend the knee though? Dorne, why isn't Dorne just like, fuck you, dude?
Yeah.
If you're not going to bend, I'm not going to bend my knee.
Dorne is notorious for not bending the knee.
Either.
Like, they literally like fought the Targaryens for like decades when they first came over to not be, not bend the knee, and eventually it came to like a truce just to stop all the fighting. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
They all just sit there and take it, but watch Sansa just have a free North over there. Like, it turned into the Stark
Well,
show.
she was the first to speak up. I wonder if like they were just like, damn it, like, can I get on that too? Because then all of a sudden he'd have no kingdom to rule. He's like, no.
But I feel like that's what would happen in that situation. Like if you just became king and then your sister's just like, well, I want to be independent, and you let that happen. I have a hard time believing that all the other major houses just sit back and say, okay, well, yeah, we'll bend the knee instead. Like I feel like all of them would be like, whoa, why does she get to just be separate from you and everyone else? Like, what? That's not fair.
She's a Stark, like that had to go with their forced narrative that the Starks like won.
Yeah, like it turned into the Stark show. Every Stark had like a happy ending or some shit, and
Ned won.
And it's just so annoying.
When I first started watching this show, Paulie Sirloins, which was Tones, February? Like,
probably around then. Yeah,
that's a lot of things to watch.
I fucking will. The point is that Ned Stark was like the most important TV character I think I've ever listened to, like in general, like just as a person. Like that's what hooked me. It was like, this Ned Stark guy is so good, just such a great guy.
Him and Mr. Matthews from Boy Meets World. Those are the two dads. Those are the two dads.
Mr. Feeney.
Mr. Feeney.
Ned Stark, like just like Mount Rushmore of good guys. I just wanted to listen to him talk for like life lessons, and he was just, like I still remember those scenes like they were yesterday, like, when they had to betray the guy. I mean, not betray. They had to behead the guys who saw the walkers in the forest, and they were like coming from wherever they weren't supposed to be. Oh, they were wildlings, and Ned Stark had to behead them, and he made Bran Stark watch. That might actually have something to do with something here. And John told him to watch. He's like, make sure Father will know.
Well, I was reading a kind of theory about that, about why he sent Jon to the wall and didn't have him executed for his crime. And it was like, Ned was saying, like, if you want to, execute someone, you should, swing the sword yourself. And if you can't do it, then maybe they don't deserve to die.
Right.
So maybe he thought about it. He's just like, I can't kill him, so maybe he doesn't deserve to die. Let me send him to the wall. So that was a cool little callback, I guess. I doubt they meant to do that on purpose. It was probably just someone on Reddit finding that. Yeah. But
so what I was going to say too, with Bran being on the throne, with probably what happened when D&D sat down, they went to George R. R. Martin's house and they like sat down for however many hours, but it was only for like one day they did it. And he probably told them like Bran gets on, and they just were kind of fed up with it, and they just didn't get in. They knew they only had 6 episodes. I bet you in the books, George R. R. Martin saw Bran and the fucking War Against the Dead as him rising to this huge character, like the Three-Eyed Raven being a huge deal, and you learning so much more about him right before we burned down King's Landing. So now Bran is a major player, and a lot of this stuff makes sense. Like he saved us from the dead. He did this and that. King's Landing burns down, the blah, blah, blah. And then like, Jon doesn't want it, like he always says. And then Bran's like, I will take it. Actually, I knew this would happen, Yeah. But we only got one episode of that, and he was in it for 2 seconds and didn't say anything.
Well, and the thing with Bran in the books is when you read about him and you hear about him, it's like in his head, it's from his like perspective. So you like hear what he's thinking, you see what his visions are and stuff. So like, if that's the case, we definitely will get a much better explanation for what's going on.
Right. Because if he like single handedly really like played a part in the war against the dead, and it's probably going to be like a full book, 800 pages worth of battle, and that taking care of the dead, then it makes sense later. But they botch jobbed what Bran was doing in the fucking Battle of Winterfell. He was just sitting there by the fucking tree with the kids.
And everyone was like, oh, like they'll tell us next episode what happened. They'll tell us next episode what happened. There was not enough episodes for us to learn anything.
I was like, we're running out of time.
Yeah, it was. And I recently found out that HBO told them, the two writers, that they'll give them whatever they want.
Yeah,
they're like, if you want 2 more full seasons, you got it. Whatever you. And then they were just like, nah, we kind of don't want to do it anymore. We want to go write Star Wars. So it was like, fuck you, man. You guys should just bowed out and let it 2 other people take over the writing.
Or bring in someone to help you.
Something.
Yeah,
fuck it up.
To just say, all right, let's just get this done with. Like, we got 6 episodes. We got to get through 6 episodes, and we got.
Yeah, it's just like 2 guys raking in. Like, they want as much profit as possible.
Dude, and HBO should have pulled the plug on them right when they said we can get it done in 6. Someone at HBO should have been like, nope, you definitely can't.
But it's also, you got to mean, like, before, like, if you can try to erase everything that we just saw this last season, like, how the hell could you possibly doubt those 2 guys? You can't just like change the writers for a show like this, like even if they take it in the same direction, people are going to be like, whoa, like last season, like TNT are bowing out. Like, what?
I mean, I get not getting rid of them completely, because like you said, like in terms of continuation, but like if they just like, I understand they want to do Star Wars, okay, fine. If they just got like a group of other writers and said, hey, this is what we want to do, like, you just flesh it out for us. Like, I don't understand like what the problem. Like, they just wanted to be done with this so bad. It seems like for no reason.
Star Wars fucked everything up. They accepted that, and like they probably thought they had enough time to sit down with George R.R. Martin and really like just get it done. Maybe they can, like, we have to do this in 6 episodes. Like, how can
you don't have to do it in 6 episodes.
Yeah, like, so we knew it was going to be 6 episodes 2 years ago, right? Like when the final set,
even before the 7th season.
They knew.
Yeah, they said, this one's going to be 7, next one's going to be 6.
Yeah. So, like, I don't understand what that. Like, I guess if you're fed up with it and you want to rush it, yeah, I mean, shelf it. Like, I wouldn't mind if it comes back in 5 years. Like, we can just pretend like the fucking, we can make the Battle of Winterfell. I don't know. Never mind.
I mean, if you told me before the season that I had to wait 5 years, I would have been furious. But now I would have taken it.
Yeah.
Like, knowing what I know now, like. I would have been like, take as much time as you need.
Yeah, like end season 7 with a scene that's like, we're gonna be here a while or something. Where like, we have like the walkers just like run in and then the battle starts then, and then like have the Battle of Winterfell at the end of season 7.
That would be the worst cliffhanger ever. For like a 5-year layoff. They raise the dead
after like a whole fight, like after an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And like then like Jon Snow's looking at the army again and they're all fucked. Sit on that for 5 fucking years. Come back to everybody dead or something. I don't know. But
they might get tried by the Geneva Convention, for cruel and unusual punishment, if that was the case.
Yeah. But it was shitty. I mean, it just wasn't a satisfying ending, and I don't know. It actually kind of felt like a happy ending.
I was very happy.
I mean, like, what did we really lose? Danny died,
but she was crazy at that point.
Well, yeah, like, you don't even care about Danny at that point because she's fucking psycho, and it happened so quick you can't even process it.
Yeah,
she turned on a dime. I mean, we discussed it. Like, she did fucked up shit like in previous seasons, but like none of it was against women and children, right? So what I would have liked is that throughout the seasons, there would have been like small drops and small like hints that, she has it in her to just fuck up women and children. Like, doesn't matter who, like, she can get that rage in her. I mean, it's more believable, but to just do like a 180 and she's just a fucking psycho now. It's just
I saw the signs coming. I wasn't surprised by that. I saw Mad Queen.
I knew they were gonna make her a Mad Queen, but
they didn't give her any lines, but they just like did stuff with her makeup where she just like looked like she was getting very, very bad.
No, I get what both of you are saying. I mean, what you're saying is I saw it too. I saw the signs, like, just like, ways she was acting kind of. But what Paul's saying is they never, like in previous seasons, they never showed any kind of inclination that she would snap. Like, you thought she was good all along up until like the last 3 episodes, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, you knew that she had the guts to do some fucked up shit, but it was always to like help someone or save a city from being enslaved and shit, right? Like,
nope, I got you on this one. So whatever episode that was when they found out that like the dudes were raping the children or whatever, when she put the dead bodies on sticks and lit them on fire like across the entire country. Remember that? I forget.
Oh, yeah, when she crucified the masters. But those were all
crucified. Yeah.
But what Paul's saying is those were all bad guys. It wasn't like she was crucifying women and children.
But she showed that really vicious, brutal sign of vengeance, like wanting the revenge, and like that is a bad idea. I mean, that's a bad mentality if you're going to be a queen.
But again, that was against bad guys. Like her burning.
Well, King's Landing turned out to be a bad guy, because Cersei occupying the Targaryen household, making a mess of it, and she's like, you know what, fuck you.
But if she wanted to, she could have just flown right to the Red Keep and just blew that up and not destroy the entire city.
Yeah,
she never did anything like that.
That goes to the plot holes, though, because of the fucking bow and arrows. Those are probably a threat. That's probably why that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I just would have liked a little bit more of just like some kind of showing that she could just murder innocent children and women if she really like got mad enough. And then, or even if this season was longer and we had more time to be like, okay, she's really fucking losing it. Yeah. But it's just like, you only have 6 episodes and you had so much filler in a lot of these episodes that, you only got little bits and pieces of her kind of being like the psycho. And then she kind of felt like she was just whining a bunch of shit. Like she was like, John doesn't love me. Don't ruin this for me, John. And then John's just like, dude, I don't want it. But she's like, but no, it's not acceptable.
Why don't the people like me?
Yeah. It's like, oh, they don't love me like they love you.
Okay. It's like, what? Maybe because you suck.
Because you're fucking psycho right now. Like, just relax.
Seriously. Like, just like chill. Like, you got these dragons fucking flying around. People are fucking freaked out. Like,
they're scared.
Bitch. Bitch on dragons.
They're kind of nervous about seeing fucking huge dragons, blowing fire, and Sansa's being a bitch as usual.
Who do you think is the biggest upset that lived through this entire thing?
Davos.
Sir Davos.
Yeah, there was no reason for him to be around.
Master of ships.
Yeah, sweet job. Like
it's an important job. How dare you? I'm gonna say Fat Sam. I mean, I knew he was coming. Like once he got to the library, like, and he really started getting deep. Like I was always a big fan of Sam. He's just the innocent fat nerd. Like I remember when he first showed up to the Night's Watch and he just couldn't do anything. I was like, oh, look at the fat kid. I feel so bad for the fat kid. He's got no friends. His family hates him. He's unathletic. Like, and John is being just a great guy, taking him under his wing and being friends with them. But then Sam just like got too safe. And Sam was just
a little too big for his britches.
Yeah, Sam's got a water bottle in the scene when they're fucking at City Hall in this last episode, determining that Brand's going to be the fucking king. Like it's just he's got to pull the spring. He's like, all right, action, puts it under his fucking headbase. It's sitting right there. Bunch of idiots. Like I don't know what.
Wait, there was a water bottle in the scene.
Yeah, it was the new Starbucks coffee fucking thing.
Oh my god.
There's a clear water bottle, right? Like Sam put it behind his leg while they're sitting around at the council, and it's just like clearly visible.
So fucking stupid.
I know.
Yeah,
it just goes. It's a testament to how rushed it was. Like that's just like they didn't even have time to edit it.
Yeah, you would think that. When you're editing something like this and you're like, scrutinizing everything to make sure it's perfect, and they're just missing shit left and right. I mean, they missed Jamie's hand.
Yeah.
There's like his real hand in the scene or whatever. And it's just like, dude, come on, man. You just don't care.
They just were, I think they were like, all right, we're going to burn down King's Landing. And all of the money and focus went into that entire episode and the Battle of Winterfell, where they had to shoot like in the middle of nowhere and it was freezing and like actually cold. And like that was a nightmare. And then the stuff around it was just like, D&D was like, fuck it. Like you just like, let's wrap it up. I'm fucking sick of this shit.
It makes me so fucking angry that 99% of the people that watch this show care about it more than the fucking writers. Like if you don't care about it enough to see a fucking coffee cup or a bottle.
It looks very hard to make.
I understand, but I mean, like, you gotta fucking like.
It's just. And I'm only mad at the writers, to be honest with you. Like I'm not mad at the people who the directors, like everyone else on the show, the whole crew do an amazing job.
They directed with what they were fucking given.
Should we be mad? Should we be more mad at George R.R. Martin?
I mean, he's definitely to blame for it.
Because
But
if he finished the books, it would have been. I still bet you, even if he finished the books, that D&D would have taken Star Wars and still crammed it into fucking 6 episodes and fucked it up.
I would be curious to see what his contract was with HBO, which determined like how much say he had in what they were actually doing. Like when they got off the books all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think he just gave him cliff notes, like, and because if you listen to early days like D&D, how like they knew everything about the books, like they read them like a million times, and then it kind of just they didn't have anything. Like it's just maybe they overthought it or they didn't overthink it at all. They just kind of went simple. But it's he said that he'd have the books done by what, season 5?
Did he?
He hasn't written a page.
Yeah, he I remember someone an actor on the show recently accused him of having like both books finished, but like he was holding them. And he was just like, that's such a lie. Like I haven't finished the second to last one, and I haven't even begun to write the last book. And I was just like, dude, you're definitely gonna die before you finish them.
That, or he just wanted to see how the writers are going to end it and then have the show end, so that way people have a reason to really buy his books.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm fixing the ending, guys. Don't worry.
He's like, I'm going to like either make it make sense or I'm going to fix it completely, and like then he'll just have record book sales. Like it makes sense. But he's so old. Who cares about money at this point?
What's he going to do with it?
He's going to die any second. Just write the books.
He doesn't have a family either, does he? Does he have like a wife and kids?
He's got a wife.
Yeah,
no, he's got a wife. He's got a wife who said, "If you kill Arya or Sansa, I'm divorcing you." So we're going to be together. But yeah, he's just sitting on his fat ass. I saw an interview with him and Stephen King, and like he just like was cracking a joke. He's like, "Yeah, I got a question for you, Stephen. How the fuck do you write books so fast?" Stephen King like cranks him out, whereas George R. R. Martin just sits on his ass. And he was like, we talked about it on the podcast, how he definitely just goes to type and just like goes to Pornhub just to check out if there's anything new and finds the good stuff, and then just gets in a rabbit hole on the related videos and just doesn't get anything done. Yeah, whereas Stephen King is just like, this is my job, writing the book.
Well, I mean, Stephen King also apparently, when he was like cranking them out like real hard, he was like big into like coke and booze, so that definitely helped too.
The 80s.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not judging, but I'm saying maybe George should dabble a little bit. And
George also is too fat and too old for coke.
Well, maybe he'll lose some weight. He starts doing coke, and all of a sudden he's got a limp dick and he can't fucking jerk off anymore. And then he's just, all he can do is right.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I bet you he wrote the book and he sees everybody's reaction. He's just like, shit, rips it all.
Just rips it all up one by one.
We gotta get started again. But
this is garbage.
So Arya's sailing west, all the way west. It's what the fuck is the point of talking about it? Like, that's the problem in the finale. Like, I have so many questions. I was about to ask you, like, dude, Bravos is that way. Like, do you think
Bravos is the other way?
Oh, true. Got my compass.
Yeah.
Yes. Damn. Well, that takes away that question. I was gonna say, what if she says what's up to the Two-Faced? Imagine like she shows up in a different face, like, it's me. How are you, son of a bitch? Good to see you.
That's another thing. She doesn't even use that like ability.
Yeah. Or she did, and we just didn't know. But they will never explain it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, she used it for Walder Frey. That was it.
It's just, I feel like, you had her have such a development of like being this trained assassin, and we've seen her like use that ability and be badass, like maybe 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. And they dedicate like a season and a half to her learning that ability.
Yeah. And she uses it like once.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck was the point?
There was just no time.
Yeah.
No time.
And that's the saddest thing about this, is that's what we keep coming back to, is that they just fucking rushed it.
They just didn't have enough time to make it good.
No. And then they filled certain episodes with bullshit, like the party after the battle. That shit lasted way too long. I mean,
I bet you they filmed that first and realized that it took way too long filming that. And they're like, all right, we got to go. we got to beat the dead. We got to burn down King's Landing. And then like, we got to rock and roll. Like maybe they forgot it was 6 episodes.
Yeah. It's just, it's just shitty. I mean, like the Night King, I keep going back to this because it fucking makes me mad. But I heard that they had one actor portraying him, and then they recast the Night King to someone who was like a stunt guy who knew how to like sword fight and all this shit. Then he doesn't fucking sword fight. Why fucking recast him to some dude who's trained in swords and then you don't even do anything? No one does anything. Everyone just does exactly the opposite of what they should be doing, and then we never get an explanation as to why. It's
never will.
Ridiculous.
If anything, they should have recast him as like an Olympic javelin thrower.
Yeah.
For that one. But you know,
put Tom Brady. Cast Tom Brady because that dude was
that would be
shit.
weird.
Yeah, that'd be really weird.
Just a blue Tom Brady.
Brady is the Night King.
I mean, he is kind of like the Night King in real life. Like he just doesn't die. He doesn't
no, he's not, because the Night King died like in 10 seconds. Well, an hour and a half.
Well, prior to this season, the first 7 seasons, Brady's the Night King.
He was the tease. He was like he's like Ryan Leaf. He was like, all talk, and then he came into the league and he was a disgrace. He got killed by a little girl.
It was a drug problem.
He lost to a little 14-year-old girl. I don't care if it's Arya Stark. She's a little girl, and she killed your entire army in one stab. It's a joke.
It's bullshit, man. I really hope that George puts the Night King in the books. And
I honestly, like I said before, I think he's going to make one of the books completely dedicated to that.
I'd be so happy with that, to be honest.
800 pages of the fucking dead and like what that all means in the battle. And then
that's what it deserves.
We just saw. Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be the end of the fucking world. And
exactly.
We got an hour and a half of not being able to see a lot of shit and people just not dying. And then the Night King just gets stabbed. None of the White Walkers fight. He doesn't do anything. And then it's over. And no background to him. He's just a bad guy to be a bad guy.
Yeah. How do you upload how do you play an episode without seeing if it's dark enough to see anything? Like that was another thing. Like the cinematographer said, like, I didn't mean for it to be that dark. Like HBO, when they uploaded the file, messed it up.
Is that? Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know. Like, how do you not just double check it before you play it? Like
I was squinting, like big time. Just like, who is that? Is that John? No, it's Jamie.
It's like, totally wrong. 850. Let me just like make sure this looks good, and you like play like, oh no, shit, where's the other file? You know, like no one thought to check. Is like, oh, just put it up there. It's fine.
Yeah,
no, because they just didn't care. It's sad.
It's sloppy all around. It's definitely sad. And again, like each one of these things we're talking about, like by themselves, aren't a huge deal. But like we've been sitting here for 40 minutes talking about multiple things that they just did wrong and they just fucked up. And it's like when it adds up like that, it's like, what were you doing for 2 fucking years?
Are we dicks or are like
no, they're fucking dicks.
You never know, Tones. What if like one of the D's like mom died or something during
I don't care. I don't care.
Rush the writing.
You had 2 years to get over it. You had 2 fucking years to get over it. I don't care about your fucking mom.
What if they're in relationship issues? Maybe D and D are in love and they're both married and like they had a Brokeback Mountain thing on the set and like it totally got in the way of the writing. They were just like, yeah,
they were getting paid.
We'll be in the trailer.
They were getting paid a lot of money to take each other's dicks out of their mouths. Like, once you're done, you go suck each other off in the Star Wars.
Hey, I don't know what? Sometimes when the ink is on the paper and it's dried up, people just like, fuck it. You already paid me. Like I'm set, and I got Star Wars coming. Like it's gonna be sweet. Like how much do you think D&D were talking Star Wars on the set of fucking Game of Thrones? Probably more than they should have been.
Yeah,
but let's just reel it back real quick because this is like Thrones. It's over. It's it. Did it ruin Thrones, or is it just? Like how I don't understand. I don't know what to say about it because I love Game of Thrones, but I can't help but think that this last season bumped them down from the number 1 spot to like number 4 on greatest of all time TV shows.
Yeah. So, Tony said it plenty of times, but like, even though this was shit, it's still kind of better than most TV out there, and I think that's true.
It was all brilliant, 10 out of 10 stuff the entire way. And then this season
fumbled it at the goal line. Yeah, it's really shitty. I honestly I wouldn't even recommend the show at this point. Yeah. I'd say go read the books.
Oh, at this point, if you had your chance, like I was one of those people, you had your chance. Like you had to watch it before the season started, and I'm very, very fucking happy I did. I still think it's probably top 3 for me. It's probably number 3.
Absolutely. Season 1 to 7. I mean, 7 I didn't like as much as the rest of the seasons. I know, you D-Rod and liked it a lot, but those 7 seasons were good. They were
very
good. Best TV I've ever seen, and it's just really sad that this is like the end of it. This is the legacy because they're going to be remembered by season 8.
Yeah,
it's always going to be, it's a really good show, but season 8 was fucking terrible.
A lot of people said that about The Sopranos for a long time. Like, you know,
Yeah.
to this day, people fucking have a problem with that ending. I never understood why. Like, by the time Sopranos happened and it ended, I was like, DirecTV, fuck you. You've ruined my satellite.
Well, the thing with the Sopranos ending is it's kind of like an open for interpretation kind of thing.
I got, and that's what maybe this is what it is for Thrones a little bit. It
No.
definitely
They didn't give us enough to interpret anything. They didn't give us enough to interpret anything. You know what they did? They left us enough to interpret. Like when you give us when we do the finish each other's sandwiches, and you just give me like 3 words, and I have to finish the sentence. That's what they did.
Yeah,
they gave us like 3 words. Is like the man went to the man. You said the man, and it's like okay, he went to the store. He shat in the ham. Like I don't know, whatever the fuck. Like
right. To the point where you never get it, but like
right.
It's still fun to talk about, and but it stinks. I don't think I would recommend it either because now it's really awkward. Like when you recommend it because of the hardcore sex scenes like that go on throughout. But like there's no finish. You just jerk off and then somebody walks in, you got to put it away. You know, like there's no finish with the show.
Well, and the thing is, like, especially if you recommend it, someone's like, "Oh, but didn't like the last season suck?"
Yeah, so they're just gonna watch it, just like, oh.
Yeah. And you can't even really defend it. I mean, here, if you like season 8, whatever, fine. I'm glad you were able to look past a bunch of this shit and then just enjoy it. But the majority of people can't. Majority of people are nitpick, and they're not nitpicking to be dicks. It's because they've invested 10 years of their lives into watching this show and learning about it and researching other shit about it and like just being so invested emotionally. And then you just kick me in the fucking balls on the finish line. And it's just like, what? Fuck it, man. Like, just fuck it. I just don't care anymore. When I was watching this episode, I was like, I can't wait for it to just be over. Because from the beginning of the episode to the end, I was just like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah. I went in with 0 expectations and I was still disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful I didn't have to do 10 years.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to watch the show again, honestly.
I won the Game of Thrones. I was the kid in college, and all the kids was like, how the fuck do you not watch Game of Thrones? You fucking, what are you kidding me? I was just like, I don't watch it. I'm sorry. Like, I've already missed this and that. And like, usually it's on when like important sports are on. So I'm missing it. And then I got into it this year and I fucking loved the hell out of it, even though I knew a ton of spoilers. I knew most of them, but it didn't matter. It was fun getting to those spoilers. Like, it sucked that I had the red wedding surprise taken away from me. Because all I hear is like how crazy people melted and just were so surprised. Like when the wedding was, I didn't know what the red wedding was, but when they were at Walter Frey's and like you can tell the vibe, I knew like, oh, this is the red wedding scene about to come. They're going to kill everybody, and it took away from like the real excitement. But still, it was great. And then I made it all the way here, and all these people are pumped. And you guys are the ones who had to watch it for the last 10 years of your life. And I was the same age I am now. I'm only a couple years older since I started Thrones, and I could just sit here and just be like, that was good, and then change the channel.
Yeah,
you guys are like, fuck.
It fucking sucks, man. I was working at GameStop when this show was on, man. You know, shitty my life was at that point. I was working at fucking GameStop, and like this show let me go home and be okay. After dealing with stupid fucking kids, trash in the store, and dumb parents leaving their kids like I'm a fucking babysitter at GameStop for 8 hours a day. This show was a saving grace, and they fucking ruined it at the end for me. 10 years of being like, yo, the Night King's gonna fuck shit up, and he didn't do anything. 10 years of crazy twists and turns and foreshadowing and what's gonna happen next just turned into nothing.
Bran.
Fucking, oh my God, everything, man.
Tones, where were you 10 years ago? Today. 10 years ago
today, I don't know.
10 years ago from Sunday, where were you?
I have no idea, but I remember this is how long ago we started watching was Sirloin's let me borrow the DVD set of the first season. So I watched the first season and then picked it up in the second season when it came live. That's how long ago it was I had to watch it on DVD. Like HBO Go wasn't even really a thing yet.
Yeah. I think I had just started driving, you know, for the first time. Now I'm the road show. Drive everywhere. But that's it. That's the wrap on Game of Thrones. She's all over.
Yep. Let's close the book.
It's done.
Please throw the book away. Close the book, burn it, throw it away.
Throw it in the fire.
Kill it with fire.
Maybe the red woman will show up with her titties out. When you do that, you throw the book in the fire, summon the fire gods.
I only want that if she's the old red woman.
I was going to say she's going to sabotage when she gets naked and gets in the bed. She's like, oh, I'm an old lady. No! All right. So that's it on Game of Thrones. Pauly Sirloins, thanks a lot. We'll find a new show to get you in on.
Yeah.
I have you ever seen The Leftovers?
I watched the first season.
Oh, you should watch it. That's my jam. It's probably the greatest show I've ever seen. I just like I turn the TV off when I'm done watching it, like 10 p.m. I'll like watch 4 episodes and I'll just be like, oh, whoa, I need to think about a lot of things. But anyway, all right, Tones, Pauly Sirloins, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Thank you, Thrones, I guess. George R. R. Martin, your move. See you, Bomb Squad.